Welcome to Hope Natural Health, the podcast inspiring you to be your best version. Join me, your host, Dr. Erin, naturopathic doctor, dog mom, cancer survivor, and girl boss weekly as we discuss all things health, hormones, and happiness with a little side of this thing called life. Welcome back to the Hope Natural Health podcast, where I try to get you healthy the right way. Last week, we had a special guest on the episode. I had Brooke Simonson, who is a certified nutrition coach and weight loss expert. And we talked about how it's possible to lose weight without counting calories and giving up carbs. So if you are one that's gaining weight or can't lose weight despite doing all the things, make sure you take a listen to that episode because it's got a lot of valuable information in it. I really enjoyed that conversation. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 signs your thyroid might be affecting your period. I have dove deep into thyroid health in the past, and I probably touch on it in a lot of other podcasts, but your thyroid is your little butterfly gland above in your neck here that literally plays a role in almost every single organ system in our body, from our digestion to our sleep, to our energy, to our cardiovascular system, to our temperature control, to our mood, our brain function, and even our periods. So it is a very small but mighty gland. And if you follow me on Instagram, go back to recent posts in the last month, because January, I should have done this podcast in January. I wasn't thinking appropriately, but whatever, we're doing it now. The Thyroid Awareness Month is in January. So I did a lot of background and education on thyroid and thyroid disorders and what you can do if you have a potential thyroid problem or what to look out for. So go back and look at those Instagram posts. And I also have a thyroid episode, episode 4, one of my first podcasts about the thyroid. So go back and take a listen to that. And that talks a little bit about the thyroid in more detail. But 3 reasons why your thyroid might be affecting your period. So if you have heavy flow, which means you're having a heavy menstrual cycle, having a low thyroid production actually will influence our body's ability to make progesterone, which therefore can create this estrogen progesterone imbalance, and that affects our flow. So we might have too much estrogen and very little progesterone, which can be contributing to heavy menstrual flow. So I have talked about signs and symptoms that your period is off, and having a heavy menstrual flow is not normal. So if you're changing your pad or your tampon every hour or 2, or having to wear double up, or just not afraid to leave the house because you might leak, like, this is not normal. And it could be your thyroid is underactive, creating this imbalance. The second one would be if you're having irregular cycles. So too little thyroid hormone or an underactive thyroid can cause an overproduction of another hormone called prolactin, which therefore can inhibit ovulation. If you're not ovulating, you don't make progesterone. So therefore, we can go back to the heavy flow, and you may or may not have a cycle, or they're going to be very, very irregular. So your thyroid, again, you can see how it's playing a role in so many different functions in the body. Also, prolactin really is a hormone that should only be elevated during lactation or breastfeeding. Other than that, it should not be elevated. And I have seen high prolactin on the regular in practice lately, and this is definitely playing a role in women's menstrual cycles, and it's a sign that your thyroid might be underactive. The third one would be, do you have possible PCOS or fibroids? If you've been diagnosed with PCOS or might not know what PCOS means, go back to episode 21. I talk about ways that we can improve PCOS, but chances are if you have one of these diagnoses, your thyroid is involved. And these diagnoses can also cause reduced fertility. Your thyroid plays a role in every single organ system in our body. So if you have some sort of diagnosis going on, always consider the thyroid might be playing a role. Now, a lot of women come to me and say, well, I had my thyroid tested and my doctor told me it was normal. Yes, it might be normal because it didn't flag and it's not outside of that normal range. However, you might be on the low end of normal or the very high end of normal. And that's where getting a comprehensive look at the thyroid is so important. And in that episode 4, I talk about the lab testing and what all of that means. So I highly recommend going back and listening to that episode if you're new to the show here. So again, to recap, 3 signs that your thyroid might be affecting your period is 1, you have heavy flow. You might not be having enough progesterone, which is causing an imbalance between estrogen and progesterone, therefore causing the heavy flow. 2, your cycles are super irregular. You don't know when it's coming, or you might not have a cycle at all. You might be producing too much prolactin, which is inhibiting ovulation. If you're not ovulating, you're not making progesterone. This is influenced by our thyroid. Or you have a diagnosis of PCOS or fibroids, and this is a sign that your thyroid likely is involved. So I'd be curious if you have any of these symptoms, or when was the last time that you had a comprehensive look at your thyroid. Drop me a note, share this website, tag me, let me know that you found value in this. I would so appreciate it. We'll see you all again next week.